Hi, my name is Jack Logan, and today I will be the first presenter showcasing Team Diamond's level. First off, we start in the campground, and if we make our way right behind, we can find this treasure chest after a series of jumps. This right away teaches the player that jumping is part of their toolkit, and they should be expecting to use it often. So here we begin the transition to my area. We have this little path and these crystals kind of breadcrumbing us along. We enter the very first open part. We see that there's a waterfall kind of pointing upwards. There's a staircase that catches the eye. All of these kind of have lines pointing in the general direction of towards where we need to go. Cross this bridge, and as we try to climb these stairs, they break. We fall in this river. Thankfully, it's not too deep, but we can climb ourselves back up by going through this little cave. And we get to this cliff, and it requires a big jump. But we make it. We see that we're climbing again, and now we enter the focal point of the level. Here we see it's a much more open area with rocks and big elephant in the room being a massive crystal. Kind of sets the environmental storytelling of this being some sort of mining operation, but seems to have been abandoned. Can't help but wonder why. As we go from these little rocky ledges to this big crystal, we start going onto this big crane, and we missed. Unfortunate. Thankfully, we don't have fall damage. But you can look around, we see that we have some shrubbery. We have a little lake around the crystal. If you do touch the lake, it will respawn you. It acts as a kill box. Back on the crystal, we try a jump again. Made it this time. Go to the other platform, and we're approaching cave.
Hey, Jack, did you purposely make that look like a face?
Yes, I tried to go for a little bit of a reptilian design to kind of make it a little spookier than usual. See, one side's boarded off, though. So we're gonna head towards this way and climb up.
Oh, hey, Jack, did you purposely make those look like teeth? Because that's what it reminds me of.
Yes, actually. Those stalagmites and stalactites are kind of meant to showcase like a window of the next part of your level and demonstrate, hey, this is a safe and new area you should go exploring. But we wanted to make a little bit ferocious, if that makes any sense, to kind of instill a little bit of fear into the player. And here we make it to the lake.
That's really
Did you?
pretty. What inspired you to do this?
Originally, this lake was a massive open abandoned city, but it didn't really fit the new vibe of the level, and it needed to be a better transition. So I really enjoyed playing with the water tools and decided I'd like to make that into a valve. And so by making it a one-way boat ride over a pond scummy lake, we accomplished both locking the player in a new part of the level, as well as making an environmentally fitting piece. Uh, and here we're going to pass it over to Samantha as we begin her level.
Hi, everybody. My name is Samantha Carlisle. The further you go up into the mountains, we enter a snowy mountainous area. You do collect some things to open some of the chests on the way. And it is also a part of the mining town. It's kind of like my initial inspiration was for there to be a hunter type of thing, but then when we put all of our levels together, we really liked that it was like a mining idea because we loved Jack's crystals. So I thought it was really cool that if we made it abandoned mine-like and that there was all these crystals throughout the whole area. So you're in this big, huge mountain. You have this refuge of this little cabin that gives you questions about what's going on. There's a nice big silhouette of the mountain in the background, and then you come upon an ice lake where you have to jump across. If you do touch the ice, it'd be kind of similar to if you were in ice in real life. You would probably die if you didn't have anybody there to help you. The jumps, I did make them a little difficult and a little easy at the same time, depending on which way you're going. And then you just get sucked into the cave where there's a chest. And you have like all these crystals and you have the hieroglyphs in the background to kind of like lead you down the hall. Something that I did add was torches because I liked the lighting in the area, but my playtesters did not, so I added more lights so they can see what's going on.
I noticed these crystals are blue, whereas the ones in my level were pink. Is there a reason why this is the case?
Yeah, so part of the story narrative that we decided upon as a team was that the crystals would change color depending on the temperature. So in the lower area, like Jack's, it's a little more temperate and warmer, so they're a pinkish color. And if it were to be even warmer, they'd be more red. So the colder they get, the more bluish purplish they turn. Like they're running out of that warmth supply. We do have some windows here. These are supposed to be castle ruins, so you have treasures around and stuff, and then you have this big window where you can kind of look back out there. So then it's like, oh, who used to live here? Was it more than just the miners? Did this used to be village or a city or something way back when? And then the stairs I also changed because a lot of people got tired of jumping up, but Lucas, our player, loves to jump up them, so it's fine. It works out both ways. Something to improve here is I forgot to fix the collision of this key. So you have to be like right on it. And I made sure every single treasure box has a treasure in it as well, to some feedback. And there's some of the purplish crystals that we were talking about. And then that's the final treasure. That's supposed to be like the moment of the ancient treasure that you would kind of find and look through. And I was really excited that I was able to do the ice tunnel in the ice area because I just thought that was really cool. The whole snowy scene is because I love snow in general, and I am in Utah and I'm surrounded by mountains that are currently capped with snow, and I just thought that would be a really cool idea to add into a level.
Would you say that inspired you to make it this way?
Yeah, I mean, besides my love of / obsession with snow, that is definitely something that inspired me. And then when I went to Montana for a weekend, it was really cool to look at all the mountains so close. And it really inspired me to help make this mountain kind of similarly. And then I even made the trail kind of similar, like if you were going up a mountain or down a mountain, like the trail would be winding instead of just straight up or down. So that's how we enter Lucas's level.
And hello, my name is Lucas. I'm the one currently playing through the entire level here, and this is my level. Old manor in a dead forest, essentially. Any of the water here, just like similar to Jack's water and Sam's ice, it will kill you if you miss up jumps. Got a little bit of like waterfalls coming through here. The actual manor itself is flooded. Coming through into the window here, you got a little bathroom, which I was not able to find a little bathtub texture for. Kind of disappointed about that, to be honest. Get a little manor key in here. Got a door that's blocked off, not allowing us to go through. Some just like little things that I just lived in. Coming out here, you have the suspension bridge, bringing your attention to my focal point of the greenhouse. Got a massive little lake over here.
What inspired you to do this?
Like I really like Bloodborne, old Victorian stuff. Assassin's Creed was like really cool, all that kind of stuff. I like parkour, jumping around, but my main inspiration for like the setting, just I love Victorian era stuff, like mansions, manors, greenhouses, all that's just really cool. I actually wanted to put more like collectibles and stuff in here. I didn't have the time to do so though, because it was a struggle finding textures for my greenhouse here. This was actually one of my proudest achievements in the actual block mesh, and one of my greatest disappointments in this one, just because there's no textures for it. Coming through here, we have my level end, which originally was a sewer system going into a cave, but replaced it here with a little hedge maze, and I purposely made it so we can do a little cheeky peek if you need to get lost throughout it. Continuing out through the maze, which I get lost in it myself, even with the little peaks. Coming out to my level end, the waterfall. This here actually did take quite a bit of time. I couldn't figure out how to get the actual audio for the waterfalls to work, but thankfully Steven helped out a lot with that. And coming out here is Joseph's level.
Alright, great work. Thank you, Lucas. So my name is Joseph Flack, and from the initial block mesh, this section here was long, spring straight walk. So to remedy that, I just took advantage of the waterfall transition that Lucas implemented. And so to cut short, I just had fun and created that huge waterfall basin there that kind of made the flow between our levels more cohesive. The landscape itself here is the crumb to lead to the factory. As you see that well-beaten path over there. Um, so by now, I would hope that the player is comfortable enough with climbing ledges that they instinctively jump at these flat ledges, as that is the way that you have to enter this factory. This jump here is very difficult. First try, great job. Something that definitely am looking to fix there. See, these big machines here, I imagine would be left behind. The way I would imagine a factory, you would take the cost-effective things out. So I wanted to leave some things behind, um, just to make it make more sense and have there actually be things inside of the level. Okay, going down here. There are some things here. The lighting, that's something that I definitely would like to learn more about. So as you see, it looks choppy, and I definitely want to fix that.
So, Joseph, what was your inspiration on making Abandoned Factory out here?
Okay, so yeah, great question, by the way. When I was growing up, I live in a town where all the industry has like died. There's nothing going on here, so we spend a lot of time like getting access to abandoned buildings and walking around and stuff. And some of these abandoned factories are really cool. So that was something that I wanted to bring to the level.
Yeah, back when I was in high school and all that, I actually went through abandoned buildings here in SoCal and would do free running parkour similar to what we're doing here. Just running around the buildings.
Very nice.
Broken stuff, running from security guards, the works.
Very nice. And in the game world, I thought that, abandoned spaces, it kind of, just like it did with you and I, it kind of just plays to the inquisitive nature of gamers and gives them something to go explore.
Yeah, just the want to explore, the need to see the unknown, whatever.
Absolutely. So the transition here is just a canyon area. The level ahead is a lot more mountainous and there's more rocks there, so I wanted that to lend itself to Steven.
Hello, my name is Steven Fodor, and this is my level. I took a lot of time building it up. I've really focused on the landscape. I really enjoyed playing around with the landscape tools and meshes and stuff that works well with it, the materials. But you first walk in, you'll notice a cabin. It's only one directional. They have the hedge blocking it off on purpose. And you notice there's some things that are out of place, like there's some grass growing through. That's some of the details that I wanted to really work on. But, time restraints kind of made it difficult. One thing that happened in this from my playthroughs was that the keys were confusing. They would grab one key and go to the next. And I ended up moving them to where they had to pick it up in a sequential order to be able to open the door. And then you'll notice that we get into my main level start. You see that I put a lot of detail into the doorways, how everything naturally blends together. This is one of my proudest moments in the level. I took a lot of time making sure that everything fit well together, especially since I have a lot of doorways and keys and collectibles that you have to collect to be able to progress.
Steven, is there something that made you inspired to make it this way?
That's a great question. Actually, there is. When I was younger, I used to go to this lake. It's called actually Lost Lake, and we would go camping there and hiking and fishing. And they have similar passages in this. Like how the drawbridges go up. They have a couple of those there, as well as cave systems. So that's actually leads right into what we're going into now. I've seen stuff like this in real life, and just kind of wanted to blend in. Obviously there's treasure and stuff in the game, but it kind of inspired me to build this way.
So, Steven, I was wondering what are the little floating particles around there?
That's a great question too. So the floating particles, I kind of got the idea of like fireflies. I know that sometimes fireflies and glowworms, they go into caves and, illuminate it a little bit just by, refracting light onto it. It's a lot of fun to think about the little insects and little things flying out. Like you can see right there. It's going. It just happens.
Yeah, it's kind of cool how it looks like it falls
Right.
out.
This is my focal point. This is where the ancient ruins / cave system is. I wanted to make sure that it was kind of like a darker scheme and kind of worked around the whole theme of the story. That's how come you still see the crystals. They're in blue because it's colder, where in caves it's naturally cold. I made sure that I put quite a bit of detail in here just to showcase the artistic value the whole team put into this. With this specific area, I made sure that the breadcrumb is actually the railroad ties and the cart system, because you can see that it's dragging you along this direction, pointing you in the direction that you need to go. I put small details in where you see treasures, the mine cart's kind of buried, it's been sitting there for a while, and it just kind of works well and flows together, the story that we put into here.
That part was done very well. It looked very final. Was there anything that made you want to go with that art style?
Honestly, just jumping around in the marketplace. I was looking at some different assets to kind of mesh well with the whole team, and I found that the whole crystal and treasures and stuff like that would have worked well inside the cave system as well, and it kind of inspired me to just push that stuff like a main center point of like, hey, we're really in this area where it could have been mined out. They left their treasures because they were heading out super fast, such as the abandoned factory, the abandoned manor. It worked out really well to mesh along with that. And then you see we are on a trolley system. It's just it's kind of like a valve. You're always able to go back. You can see that it goes back, just in case you do fall off. But nonetheless, it works really well. I just made a garden here, just kind of show that people have lived here. Yeah, there's still flowers. They're still gonna bloom every year. But it shows that there's still beauty in the chaos of leaving. And then we get to the end. I made sure that I really incorporated the landscape in this area. If you look to your right, you can see that I put a lake in there, made it look natural flow. There's logs, there's branches. It just kind of goes along with it. And then you get into the final transition to the end level, which I put a lot of detail into, just to make sure that it looked like a jungle theme where we're getting through. Because on the end level, it shows that you're still in the forest or the jungle or anything like that. But I made sure that in the transition there was multiple ways to go. I want to place more collectibles in those areas specifically, just to be able to give the player something to interact with when we're running through it. But you can see there's placeholders, and then we get to the end level. This gets to the lodge. It blends in pretty well, in my opinion, and I think the team can agree with that. But we get to the lodge, and we're here. We're at the end.